Welcome to this video about neglected inner child and how this impacts loneliness. This video will take this discussion in depth. However, if you would like to understand a shorter description, you can check out the above videos. This video will also talk about what you should do in order to overcome this issue and how it can help to overcome loneliness. Now, what is this inner child? Let's start with that. Well, inner child is a part of our psyche which is childlike. A lot of theories talk about it. However, the essence is that there is a part of our persona, part of our personality, which is the childlike part. We have retained this from our own childhood. Now, according to transactional analysis theory by Eric Berne, whatever we experience in our childhood, in our early childhood particularly, say between 0 to 5 years, gets recorded into our mind. Whatever we are experiencing outside and what is happening within. Now, whatever are the emotions that we experience, these experiences get recorded in the child persona of our psyche. If, say, we have experienced positive things like affection, appreciation, then it can be a great source of confidence and creativity, belief in oneself and positive self-image. However, imagine when a child is exposed to negative affect or negative things that people are saying or doing, in particular about himself or herself, they can start feeling very inadequate. They start having a lot of self-doubt. And this can result in eventually, say, low self-confidence, a low self-image, not feeling so great about, how I am or how I think about myself. Now, what tends to happen is also the needs of love, affection, appreciation, affirmation, belongingness, care, all of these needs that the child has are left unmet in the negative scenario. Now, I do think it's important to mention here that negative scenario does not always mean that you had bad parents. Negative scenario is just that because of whatever circumstances were there around you, whether it's with your parents or parental figures, you had, say, you were devoid of the kind of attention, affection, love, care that you required or that a child requires. Now, if this is the experience that one has had, all these needs of love, affection, attention, acceptance, of this unconditional positive regard, that love which has absolutely no bounds, but also no no reason or no expectation attached to it. That it's not that you will get love if you do X or if you do Y. This is an unconditional positive regard. There are no conditions attached to the love. And if these needs are unmet, they continue within us. They continue within the child psyche, which is within us. Let's call the child psyche inner child. Okay. Now, our inner child, even as we become an adult or we grow old, our inner child has these needs of love, affection, attention, unconditional positive regard, appreciation, belongingness. And these only keep increasing in magnitude. It's an unfulfilled need, right? So with passing time, the need only increases. Imagine you're thirsty. This is another need, right? Water, the need for water. Now, if you're thirsty and you do not get water, you will keep becoming more and more and more and more thirsty, right? Your thirst won't suddenly go away. The same way, the need, the emotional need is the same. that this need, when unfulfilled, keeps growing and growing and growing. So as an adult, the kind of and the amount of attention, acceptance, love, affection, care that we want will be a lot more. And a lot more will have to come our way to satisfy and fulfill that need. So just as if you're thirsty and you're thirsty for say 4 hours, you will end up having a whole bottle of water, right? Your 1 liter of water you might end up having at once. Similarly, you may need a larger quantity of these emotional factors to fulfill the emotional need or emotional void within. Now, while we are waiting for these emotional needs to be met of our inner child, what are we doing with it? Because, of course, we are waiting for somebody else around us to fulfill all these needs, right? We expect other people to show us appreciation, love, affection, care. We want others around us. That's our definition of either we want it from parents, from romantic relationship, from job, from friends around us, any kind of a close association. We expect these needs to be fulfilled, right? But in case these are not fulfilled, what are we doing with it? Or while we are waiting for someone to fulfill all these needs, what are we doing? We either completely neglect our inner child. We believe that we are adults and there is no childlike quality that we should possess. So we completely neglect it or are completely unaware. The second thing we do is we criticize the inner child. We criticize the childlike qualities in our behavior. So if we feel like doing something, or we feel like eating something interesting, or we are excited about, say, a festival or meeting a person or eating a particular dish, we immediately judge ourselves, saying, am I a child? Why am I behaving like this? Or if you feel like indulging in some kind of an activity, say arts or crafts or dance, even if some people, dance, either you yourself or people around you would immediately say, are you a child? How are you behaving? Right? So we completely criticize the inner child part of us. And these are not only desires, right? For the child, these could also be needs, like I talked about, all those unmet needs. So let's say that you express to your romantic partner that you want to be hugged or cuddled, or you want to be, you express to, say, your friends that you wish to be addressed by your nickname, or you come and just ask them, oh, look, how am I looking? Is this dress looking nice? Is this, I really like it, how do you find it? Now, while you're not saying, listen, I want appreciation, but this gesture in itself is saying, please look at my dress and appreciate me. Now, at that point of time, a lot of people may react to you saying, are you a kid? Why are you asking us? You should be self-fulfilled. Without actually realizing that there is a need for appreciation, right? And this tends to happen because the expectation of the larger audience is that these basic needs of attention, affection, love, care, appreciation, belongingness have been to a large scale, attended to. And hence, the kind of attention, love, affection, care, etc. that they are going to show you will only be to a certain level. So, because people are behaving this way, we often tend to also judge and criticize ourselves. Am I a child? Why am I behaving like this? Right? Who are you scolding when you say things like this? You're scolding your own inner child. You're criticizing it for having these needs. So imagine this child has been devoid of all these needs from childhood, and as you grow, you either neglect the needs completely, you ignore this part further, or you criticize this part for having these needs. Third is that you completely judge yourself or you feel guilty. It's a part of criticism as well, but a later part that comes that you either judge yourself or become guilty about having these needs, right? So essentially, you are completely denying this inner child. Now, tell me something, if this was a real child in front of you, if you had a 3-4-year-old in front of you, and you saw that they need love, affection, attention, and they really are craving for it, they've not received it so far, would you behave like this with them? Would you simply turn your face the other way and say, I don't see you, you don't exist for me? But we do this with ourselves. We neglect or avoid our own inner child. Now, would you say, criticize that child? Would you say, khatak, slap the child and say, why do you want attention, love, affection? Why are you behaving like this? No, right? But we do this to our own inner child. We criticize it, we judge it for having these needs. We humiliate it a lot of times. Now, the third part. Would you shame that person or make that person feel guilty? Would you say, you should be ashamed of yourself and this is not how I expect you to be? Why are you needing all this affection, attention, love, care? And the child is crying, okay, at this point. Would you say all of this to him or her or them? No. But you do this with your own inner child. So when you start seeing your own inner child as another child in front of you, a physical manifestation of the child, it becomes very, very obvious how unfair we are being to our own inner child. Our inner child is already wounded. And if they are already experiencing pain, withdrawal, feeling unaccepted, unloved, and on top of it, we also pile on to it, criticize it for being there, ask and question its very existence or neglect it completely, then how will this inner child heal? The pain or the wound that the inner child feels is only going to grow. And when we experience this kind of intense disconnect from our inner child by either neglect or criticizing it or shunning it away or feeling guilty about it, basically, essentially denying its existence, we are denying a part of our own self. We are disconnecting from our own self. And when you disconnect from this inner child, which is essentially the first part of you, right? We all grow from childhood to adults. So this is the first part of our psyche which has been created. And we disconnect with this inner part, the first part of ourselves. So there is a kind of disconnect which we feel within. We feel lonely from within because we ourselves have disconnected. The two parts are feeling lonely. The child is also feeling abandoned because you have completely neglected and denied their existence. And the other part of you is also feeling empty because a very basic part of them, which includes creativity, happiness, innovation, energy, excitement, all this is a part of inner child, right? And you have pulled that away from your adult self. And hence, within you, you already feel disconnected. Now, no matter how many people are outside you, when you are divided within yourself and you've disconnected from self, you'll always end up feeling lonely. You'll always end up feeling misunderstood. So, what is the solution? Well, the solution is first to become aware of our inner child. You need to first accept and understand that there is our inner child psyche. There is a part of our persona which is going to be childlike. The second is to accept and appreciate the inner child, which is not only to accept that it exists, but above and beyond that, accept that it's wounded. Accept that there are some needs and expectations that are unmet. there were some needs of this child, and those needs have not been met for such a long time, and because of that the child feels wounded, the child feels that there is something which needs to heal. Accept and appreciate this part. Once you do, you recognize its pain, you recognize the inner child's need for healing. You recognize that there is something additional required to be given to this inner child. Okay, so when you do this, next step is to allow your own adult self to appreciate, provide love, care, affection, and fulfill all those needs of the inner child. So the adult within you can be the adult or the parent or the experience that can help this inner child. The inner child needs some things. The adult within you can be the provider of that. Now, this is very, very helpful. Why is it helpful? It's helpful because we can't expect or explain to others what we need and what they should do, or we cannot even force them to do that. Others may or may not have the capacity to actually provide this to us. Our needs can or cannot be fulfilled by others. However, we know our needs and we can provide those needs to our own inner child. An individual has all the resources that the individual requires within themselves. We have boundless love, affection, care, compassion for others. We are able to be empathetic to them. We are able to be there for our friends, for our family, to love them, to show them how great they are, to appreciate them. Then why not that for our own self? So the third step is to connect with your inner child and provide all of that affection, attention, love, whatever needs are there for the inner child, to fulfill those needs. And this is not a one-time activity. It's not that you go once, you meet the inner child and say, okay, here is everything that you require. Now, please do not disturb me again. You have to maintain a constant connect with your inner child. You have to build a relationship with your inner child, and this has to be a positive relationship which continues over a period of time. The more connected you are towards the child within you, you will see the more happier you will be in life, the more fulfilled you will be in life, and the less lonely you will feel. Even if there is social loneliness, which is when you may not have a group around you, you may not have people around you, you will not feel emotionally lonely, you will not feel emotionally disconnected, because you are providing that kind of comfort and love and affection to your own inner child. I hope this video helps you to understand why a neglected inner child can impact and create the feeling of loneliness. And if you would like to work on this aspect, there are a lot of experiential videos in the following section that will help you to go through this experience through guided meditation, through NLP, through art, through movement. There is a lot that we have that can help you to actually experience your inner child, meet them, see how they are, understand their feelings, get them to open up, and to actually be able to fulfill all those needs, wants, expectations that are there. If you need further help, we're always here to help. You can feel free to reach to us. Thank you.